Boston is playing its first home game in the month of February. Its first home game, in fact, since the 28th of January. Due to COVID and all scheduling and all different kinds of nonsense. Yeah, this is the case. It's technically the only home game that Boston gets the entire month of February, as their next game is in Lake Tahoe, and then they're on the road again. You're not going to get any sympathy from the New Jersey Devils, as due to their COVID situation, they have pretty much 4 games in hand on everyone else in the division, with the exception, of course, of the Buffalo Sabres, who have gone through their own COVID ordeal, particularly in thanks to the New Jersey Devils, as it might turn out to be. Yeah, 2 teams that are trying to regain their footing after long layoffs, one longer than the other, of course, but we'll see how it happens. Boston at home, taking on the New Jersey Devils on this Bruins Recap Show.
Boston Bruins.
So we start things off in the first period. Yaroslav Halak getting the start for Boston. Oddly enough, I don't know if maybe this was just a scheduled start for Yarrow, but this will give Tuukka Rask pretty much a full week of rest, unless something is wrong that I'm not sure of. But it was an interesting thing to see Yarrow getting the start. I thought they would go with Rask instead, but maybe it was just a scheduled start for Yarrow today. So probably you will see Rask in the Lake Tahoe game. Anyway, Boston will get a big nemesis in net from the New Jersey Devils, as it's Mackenzie Blackwood, a talented young goaltender. This kid just looks great. He's going to be a great goaltender for New Jersey for years to come. And right off the bat, massive line changes for the Boston Bruins, and we'll get to why as we break down a couple of things later on in this video after we talk about this game. So here are your lines for this evening. Marchand with Bergeron and Jake DeBrusk. Nick Ritchie with David Krejci and David Pastrnak. Trent Frederick with Charlie Coyle and Craig Smith. Anders Bjork with Sean Corelli and Chris Wagner. Also for Boston, Matt Grzelcyk and Jakub Zboril, both out with injuries. So in for defense is Connor Clifton and John Moore. Fast-moving first period. Boston not looking very, very good, although the shots were tied 7-7. But the stat sheet does not show what the eyes saw, as the eyes test saw this game early going being controlled by the speed and structure of the New Jersey Devils. They're just a frustrating team to play against. Either way, no score, but look to be fairly in the favor of the New Jersey Devils. So we go to the second period. So we start things off in the second period, and it's Brandon Carlo who's going to dump the puck. It's on the stick of Kyle Palmieri. He goes over to Jack Hughes, and Jack Hughes goes up the ice into the Boston zone. A gorgeous behind-the-back pass from Jack Hughes to Kyle Palmieri. 2 Boston defenders merge in on Jack Hughes, leaving Palmieri wide open. Nick Ritchie on the back check, can't get him, and Palmieri beats Yaroslav Halak, and the New Jersey Devils go up 1-0. A little bit later on in the period, and the Boston Bruins are on a penalty kill. In comes PK Subban with a high stick to the mouth of Anders Bjork. There is blood, so that's 4 minutes. On the ensuing power play, Kyle Palmieri again, as Charlie McAvoy's trying to pass it over to Nick Ritchie. The pass gets deflected by Bratt over to Severson. Severson, looking up, sees a wide open, uncovered Kyle Palmieri. He streaks into the Boston zone all alone, goes 5-hole on the breakaway, his second of the game, and the second shorthanded goal given up by the Boston Bruins makes it a 2-0 hockey game. One thing to note in the second period, no David Krejci for a good chunk of it. I think he took like 1 shift in the second. Towards about 6 minutes left in the second period, they announce, or at least Jack Edwards announces, that due to a lower body injury, David Krejci will not return to this game. So, yikes. Now let's add up that David Krejci added to the injury report with Grzelcyk, with Zaboral, with Ondrej Kase, with Jack Studnicka, who might or may not return to the team, might go down to the AHL level. In the same power play that the shorthanded Palmieri goal was scored, it's a puck battle in the corner. Kulikov gets the puck to Palmieri. Backhand clearing attempt. It's stolen by Jake DeBrusk. He settles it down and immediately fires it over the blocker side of Mackenzie Blackwood. Jake DeBrusk gets his first goal of the season on the power play, and Boston makes it a 1-goal game. So a little bit later on in the second period, it's a bad clear by the Boston Bruins to Will Butcher, getting the puck over to Pavel Zacha. Zacha gives it back to Will Butcher, 4-on-4 though, so there's a lot of ice. As Butcher skates into the zone, gives it back to Pavel Zacha. Beautiful spin move to get around Jake DeBrusk. Gives it to Andreas Janssen. Janssen, a former Toronto Maple Leaf. Gives it back over to Zacha, who is wide open as Sean Kuraly. It's pretty. It's a beautiful puck. It's a beautiful puck. I gotta cover somebody? Wide open, Pavel Zacha puts the puck in the net, makes it a 3-1 hockey game, and we go to the third period. In the third period, the Boston Bruins are successfully able to kill a 5-on-3 power play for New Jersey. With about 2 minutes, 11 seconds left in the game, New Jersey sends the puck from their defensive zone over the glass. That is 2 minutes for you can't do that. So Boston would be on the power play for pretty much the remainder of the game, trailing by 2. So they pull the goaltender, and they go 6-on-4. So it'll be David Pastrnak. He goes down to Charlie McAvoy. McAvoy with a little give and go with Patrice Bergeron. McAvoy then tries the Nick Ritchie front of the net jam play. That gets deflected. But Nick Ritchie, able to maintain possession, sends it around the net, around the boards. Barely kept in by David Pastrnak, but he keeps it in nonetheless. Takes a shot. It hits a devil and hits the post and ends up in the back of the net somehow. A seeing eye shot from David Pastrnak with 1 minute and 6 seconds left into the game. The Boston Bruins cut it 3-2, and you're thinking they can't do this again. And you would think that. They threw everything at the net at the end of the game, but it just not to be, as Mackenzie Blackwood makes a massive save on David Pastrnak with the shoulder on a one-timer at the end of the game, and the Boston Bruins fall 3-2 to the New Jersey Devils. So, with that being said, let's discuss a fun little problem that the Boston Bruins still have. 1. The Boston Bruins this season have scored 42 goals. Out of those 42, 22 of those goals scored by 3 people. Can you guess who they are? Can you guess who they are? Can you guess who they are? Marchand, Bergeron, Pastrnak. 52% of the Boston Bruins goals scored by 3 players. Now, the Bruins also have 14 power play goals and 3 shorthanded goals, which gives them 25 goals at even strength on the season, which is roughly 60%, which is clearly not good enough. So the Boston Bruins need more scoring from their bottom 6 or their middle players, their middle 6, and they need to score more 5-on-5. So let's look at some people who are not pulling their weight. As Marchand and Bergeron are combined for 36 points on the season. Charlie Coyle, 4 points. Craig Smith, newly acquired, 5 points. Jake DeBrusk, granted he missed 5 games, I'll give him a slight pass, 3 points. David Krejci, 10 points, which is good, 10 assists. No goals, not good enough. So, next up for the Boston Bruins, as they try to right the ship and take on the Philadelphia Flyers, who they are 4-0 against on the season. This one will take place in Lake Tahoe. They're technically slated as the home team, although they are not the home team because it is in Lake Tahoe. So hopefully the Boston Bruins can figure out their 5-on-5, and they're, other than the top line scoring problem, which they've had for, 3 years now, for at least what it seems like. And we'll figure it out, hopefully, on the next Bruins Recap Show.